Not many years ago, a man walked naked on the streets of a town. The town is on a border between Kenya and one of the East African countries. I want this story to remain anonymous for the sake of suspense and maybe for security reasons and perhaps for the dignity of the character. So this man had walked across the border because across the border alcohol is very cheap compared to Kenyan bars. So he had walked across the border into one of the bars in the neighboring country in that border town. So when he walked into that bar, or when he walked into one of the bars, and many other things came cheap after he had, of course, bought the cheap alcohol from across the border. Other things came cheap, and of course, he went for so many other things. One of the things he forgot is that everything does not come without a price. So, of course, he spent all his money buying drinks. Quite a generous man. Bought drinks for so many of strangers he was within the bar, and of course, his company, a brown, beautiful lady from the other country where he was. And they struck a deal with that young, beautiful, brown lady, as brown as the Gen Zs will say, rangia thao. So they negotiated with the young brown girl across the border of where he had walked into a bar and met this young girl among others. And so he continued reveling, drinking, and gobbling his money. So eventually he got tired of infesting his body with alcohol, and his system, of course, told him it was time to reap his harvest. He had sown so much alcohol into the company he had of a young lady. So I don't want to make the story long, because when the young man went into further negotiation, the young lady agreed to the deal. So they had a deal that as adults can have a deal. So you know what I'm saying. So they went into the guest rooms that were available in that establishment. The young man, after he was done with his business and was asked to pay, because some services are free and some services are not free indeed. So he had used a service that was not free. So he thought he had money, but he did not have money. What followed is that there was a scuffle in that room where the young man had gone to. And to cut the long story short, his clothes were detained because, of course, he had gobbled up all his money. So his clothes were detained. The young lady screamed top of her lungs that Mwana Kenya is stealing from me. Now everyone was gathering around the room. So the young man was quite embarrassed, and the only salvation he had was that he goes and gets money from wherever, but his clothes were detained. So you come to think of it, in that border town, a young Kenyan man walked in his boxers going to look for money to pay for the services he had used, which he, I think, being drunk, thought they were free, or maybe he thought he still had some money. But how stupid he was, after, of course, buying everyone in that establishment, or almost everyone, alcohol. What made him think he still had money? So the story goes in that town that a Kenyan man walked in his boxers because he could not afford to pay for his services. Some services are not free. Beware of some services, and don't just go everywhere. And if possible, avoid alcohol. I think if you are listening or watching, you have one of the crazy stories you've come across in life. That's one of the crazy stories I've come across in life. But today is not a day of stories. I want to introduce an idea. Behind every story, there is a face. That's one universal truth. Now, behind every story, there is a face. That's one of the reasons an idea was born in my head, conceived, and now I feel it's time to birth it and formally introduce this channel, which is the idea itself. So before we go on, share. Oh, sorry, let me start the other way. Like, share. No, it's not that way. Like, subscribe, and share. This is a new YouTube channel. My name is Moses Abukutsa. The title of the channel is Beyond Faces. Our aim, those of us interested in this channel, is to inspire, is to empower, and to take a journey of discovery. So, welcome to Beyond Faces, a new YouTube channel by Moses Abukutsa. The story I've just told you is a true story. Because of the adult content in that story, I have avoided to give details. But don't take alcohol. Don't drink. Don't take any kind of substance that will make you imagine you have money when you don't have money. And don't be addicted to something that will drive you to places where you should not be going to. Something that will make you walk in boxers in a foreign land. I don't know why people love doing things that they don't want to do. If you walk in a boxer in a strange land, what do you think your mother or father will say if they are still alive? Mine died But it's beyond that. The funny thing is that that young man kept going back to that foreign country, and he didn't learn his lesson until something else happened. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, share. This is Beyond Faces, where we will take a journey, hear stories, empower, inspire, and we will be hearing stories from faces. Some faces we will have them here on video. Some faces will not appear on the video. So the only important thing is that beyond every story there is a face. So those you will see, you will hear the story beyond their faces. Those you will not see, you will hear the stories, but you will not see the faces. But you will know that there is a story behind every face. Like, share, subscribe. Don't drink alcohol or take any substance that can make you walk half naked in a foreign land. Like, subscribe, share, like, subscribe, like, share. Beyond Faces.